welcome into the show. It is Daniel Wortman coming to you live from the Dream Imaginate Sports Studios. It is 8 a.m. on the East Coast. This is your super early morning wake-up call out on the West Coast in all time zones in between and around the world. Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday morning. I hope you're having a great morning so far. And I don't know what you were doing yesterday, but what I can't even call myself a neutral. I was definitely rooting for Man City in the match yesterday. But what a match. What a tactical back and forth. Madrid, were causing Man City all kinds of problems in the first half. I thought it was one of Zidane's better tactical plans I'd ever seen from him as a coach. Most of the time, I felt like his teams, won, but just they were never like overwhelming. Like you think of Real Madrid and you think, oh, these giants and they're just going to overwhelm us. They're going to be just so much better than us. And individually, yes, they have incredible players there at Real Madrid. But I never felt like from a tactical level that it was ever this sense of just, unbelievable tactical plans on top of the individual talent. And that is not saying that Zidane's a bad manager at all. I never would put him in a class with Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp for that matter. But I do feel like he's a good manager. He's done very well at Real Madrid. But on that level, I never kind of looked at a Real Madrid team and just thought, man, they just are going to dominate. I always felt like they had a really good chance to win. Whereas, Barcelona under Pep, Klopp, and Liverpool right now, Pep with Bayern Munich as well, even with Manchester City, you see his teams and you see the way they play. There's this influence and effect on the game from a tactical standpoint that a lot of teams just find it very hard to deal with. And but I felt like this was going to be a tough matchup. But I just thought Man City, with everything going on, we're going to be able to hone in and focus on a plan. And didn't know whether they'd get the result or not. You have no idea. It's Champions League. But all that being said, I felt like they would at least have a plan that they were going to do. Real Madrid surprised me. They were causing Manchester City all kinds of issues in the first half. They were not able to really convert them into anything, and that's where, to me, this tactical breakdown is seen. But in terms of frustrating Manchester City from what they wanted to do in terms of building out of the back and possession, and being able to easily connect in the midfield, I really felt like Real Madrid were suffocating Man City in the first half, especially, just causing them all kinds of fits and issues. So as the game goes on, you could see this 4-4-2 plan that Pep had rolled out. It was not really working great. They had some chances on the counter, and they were kind of sitting deep, trying to absorb Real Madrid and frustrate them as well. So it was a great, like I said, I'm not a neutral observer because as a Barcelona fan, first and foremost, I'm rooting, in favor of whoever's playing Real Madrid. So I can't say I'm a neutral observer. I'm also a massive fan of Pep Guardiola, as you know. So, that's another, tick in the box for why I would root for Man City against Real Madrid. But watching the game and just taking it in, the back and forth was just incredible to watch. The adjustments that were being made, some of the different aspects of each team that were specific to the match. You have teams that have an identity, and certainly Real Madrid and Manchester City have their identities, the things that they are known for in terms of the way they play. And when you go up against them, that you're preparing, okay, hey, they're likely to play like this. Yesterday, I felt like both coaches went into that match trying to tweak things to keep the other on the edge, to not let them get comfortable. And I felt both were actually successful in their plan. Zidane and Pep were both successful in that regard. What I saw with Pep and Man City that I didn't see with Real Madrid was the amount of chances for Real Madrid in their plan. It was like that part was never fully accounted for. Whereas Man City had a lot of chances and they didn't convert them. So Real Madrid, off of a Man City mistake, it looked like a mistake that my 2010 teams make, where they're playing the ball out of the back, a careless pass, doesn't play a good firm pass, leaves it short. Real Madrid pounces on it, quick counterattack, and set up a nice goal from Isco, who, even though he plays for Real Madrid, I love Isco. And so Madrid goes up 1-0, and you're like, ugh. Can Man City find a way forward? Can they work their way out of this? I felt like they could probably try to find their way back to 1-1. But, you never know. Does that blow, like, just knock them out or not, And they were able to get the equalizer, and Man City were then able to get the go-ahead goal at 2-1, and Gabriel Jesus is in. He's goal side, about to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and Sergio Ramos. I think his pinky touched Jesus' shoulder enough for Jesus to react and go down. And you could say that was a dive, that was a this. It wasn't that hard. And yeah, you're right. But you know what? That was Ramos' fault for putting himself in that position. And now he's out. He gets a red. He's out for the return leg. It's his own fault. He knows how the game works. He's been on the other side of that many, many times. And so now he's out against Man City in the return leg. It was not a penalty. It was just outside the box. And they did not convert the free kick, and the game finishes 2-1. And Man City got what they came to Madrid for, which was a victory, but not only a victory with 2-1. That essentially means that Real Madrid have to win 2-0 at the Etihad in the return leg, or more. They're going to have to score at least 2. That plays into Man City all day. That is going to be a tough hill for. I'm not saying it's impossible for Real Madrid. It's certainly possible, but it's going to be a tough battle for them to pull it off. It was definitely a lot of drama. Real Madrid were whining after the game that Jesus pushed Ramos earlier for the equalizer. That was no. You could watch the play. That was no push. That was Sergio Ramos trying to do to Jesus what Jesus did back to him, and Jesus pulled it off better. And so on that equalizing header, and now we've got Man City set up for what they wanted, which was to go to Madrid. The first leg, I said this yesterday on the show, this is the scenario that Pep wanted. He wanted to go to Madrid first, get the away goals, try to get a win if possible, and set himself up for a return leg with Real Madrid. What Real Madrid didn't want to do is have to open themselves up. They don't mind the counterattack, and they don't mind trying to suffocate Man City, but having to chase 2 goals is a different animal for this Real Madrid team, because they know that Man City is going to be set up to, number one, prevent that, and secondly, to punish them for that. As long as he's healthy, I anticipate Raheem Sterling to play a massive role in the return leg at the Etihad. He came in later in the game and started causing havoc, coming back from injury. If he's healthy in a few weeks, when they meet up again and he's on the field, I anticipate that Raheem Sterling is going to cause Real Madrid all kinds of issues. De Bruyne is going to have time and space to pick Sterling out. I just think there's going to be a lot of potential pitfalls for Real Madrid in the return leg. And as a Barcelona supporter, I couldn't be happier. So yeah, it was an incredible game. I hope you had a chance to watch it. The other game yesterday was also some drama. Juventus losing at Lyon 1-0 and did not get their away goal. Sets Lyon up for a really, really interesting return leg, because if they can just get 1, that means Juventus has got to score 3. At home. Not to say they can't do it. They certainly can do it, and Ronaldo will be trying his best to pull that off. But that was another big result yesterday at home. Can they replicate it on the road? I don't know, but we'll see. I anticipate Juventus is going to really, really come at them and not give them the opportunity to do anything anymore going forward. That Juventus is going to try to put that fixture in the bag pretty quick and choke the life out of Lyon. But look, the thing is like I said, if they get that away goal already up 1-0, that turns into a 3-goal quest for Juventus, and it just every time they score, it makes it that much more difficult. And you're gonna have to see, can Juventus keep them at bay, which I think they'll be able to do for the most part. But can they get those goals? They're going to need 2. They're going to need 1 at home right now just to force extra time. But if Lyon gets that 1 away goal, they're going to need 3 goals. So it's a tricky spot to be in, returning home. For me, I would much prefer to play the away fixture first, try to get a result there, because it sets me up really nicely at home for the second leg. Liverpool are going to have that same kind of daunting task against Atletico Madrid, and I think you're gonna see this kind of replicated in some of these other matches as well. So, interesting Champions League yesterday with especially Man City and Real Madrid. It was such a tactical dogfight, back and forth. Second half of that game, Man City's adjustments at half, and then when they brought on Sterling, it made major differences. And I think we're going to see some more wrinkles in the return leg. I don't think we're going to see the exact same plan from either coach, which is what makes this matchup so fascinating from a tactical standpoint. So if you're a coach, I would definitely encourage you, if you can't watch it live, DVR it and watch it later, because it is going to be worth watching for sure. So yeah, it was a good day for all of that. Really good day, and I think we have a lot to look forward to. Exciting Champions League, spring here as we look into March and then into April and then to the final in May. Gio Reyna is in the news. Borussia Dortmund's Gio Reyna. He is getting a call-up in March to the full senior U.S. men's national team for the March international window. Congratulations to Gio. He was earlier in the day. He was named to the 50-man provisional roster for the Olympic qualifying tournament. Just a reminder for everyone out there: we have not made the last two Olympics. It's been terrible, and so we've got to see if we can turn this around. The issue here is that the qualifying tournament spans, and so because no team is going to have access to every single player that they might want because of that. So that qualifying tournament spans beyond the March international window. And Dortmund is not going to allow Reyna to be available for the Olympic qualifying tournament in outside of the FIFA window. So he could go play a game or two during the qualifying tournament in the FIFA window, but they're not gonna let him stay an extra week or two. They want him back. And it makes perfect sense if you're Dortmund. He's playing for you in the Champions League. He's been playing for you in the league, and it makes all the sense in the world why they would want a player like that back in the fold. I don't blame Dortmund for that. I blame the organizers of the Olympic tournament why you're doing it in these non FIFA windows. To me, that's just crazy, as I said. So Gio, he's 17 years old, and Berhalter said about him, we want our younger players performing and playing at a high level, and Gio is doing that, and as a result of him doing that, he gets an opportunity with the first team. That's our men's national team. Reyna, 17, has made immense strides. So when you look at Gio Reyna and what he's doing at Dortmund, it makes complete sense why they don't want to let him go outside of the FIFA window. And kudos to Berhalter for saying, look, we're going to give him a shot in this March window, so we can kind of get a look at him with the senior national team and see where he's at and kind of for a gauge and judge for the future. So I think in both regards, is a good move. It's probably the best that we could get out of the FIFA window for Gio because of the fact that Dortmund's not going to release him. And as I said, I don't blame him at all. In other news, Mal Pugh is returning to the U.S. roster for the She Believes Cup, and so is Tierna Davidson, and so we're gonna get a chance to see them back with the squad for the She Believes Cup. They'll face England in the opening game, and 20 of the 23 players who are going to be on this roster were the same as when these two teams met in the Women's World Cup semifinal last summer. So that tournament is kicking off soon, and that will be one for us to follow as well. So let's see when. That's going to be March 5th. So they're a country of the three countries. To me, they are a country on the rise that could see over the next 10 years be a major player. England as well. And obviously we know about Japan. So speaking of knowing about things, if you've watched the show at all, you should know about Duktig brand, DUKTIG brand.com. We talk about them every day on the show because they have incredible products. They have great apparel. They have resources for you. There's all kinds of things that you could do to be a part of the Duktig family just by making an order. And when you do, place an order and use promo code DW Show. You'll get 10% off of your order. and then that thing will ship right to you as quick as possible. Use promo code DW Show, get 10% off of your order at ducticbrand.com. We'll be right back after this. Into the show on this Thursday morning. I don't know if you saw this. Yesterday we talked about the comments from former U.S. men's national team coach Bob Bradley, who just laid it all out there. He told the truth, and that's the important point here. The facts and the truth are behind exactly everything that Bob Bradley talked about. Promotion and relegation, solidarity payments and training compensation, no homegrown territories. Those three areas that he talked about were spot on. They're factual. You cannot look at where we are in that document that has been manipulated in favor of Major League Soccer since its inception under Sunil Gulati, with the last official revision in 2014. Even in that document, Major League Soccer and their owner-operators sign up with the understanding that they are part of the federation and the rules can change at any time, including so much so that there is a provision in the professional league standards that specifically outlines that if the standards change, they have 3 years from the date of notification of the change to be in compliance. They know what they're signing up for. All of that from Sunil Gulati and Don Garber and other apologists are nothing more than made-up excuses, the same lines of excuses that were used about solidarity payments and training compensation being illegal. Now, all of a sudden, MLS wants them. Why? Because they've got players leaving them for Europe. Oh, now we want them. Now it's okay. No U.S. law was changed, but miraculously, it's legal. Bylaws. It's in the policy manual. It is in the professional league standards policy. Again, not published in the policy manual, but available for consumption. It's included in all of their documents. Everything could change tomorrow, and they would get 3 years to get into compliance. All of those comments about they need time and they've made all these investments and it wouldn't be fair to the... Excuse me? It wouldn't be fair. They've gotten to invest into a protected instrument because Chuck Blazer and others worked with FIFA to get them exemptions. Fair? What about all the clubs who want to invest and build and grow, and if they're not accepted into Major League Soccer, they don't get to play First Division? They could win the championship and never get the opportunity to play in MLS. Fair. Fair is equal opportunity. Fair is open access. Fair is on-field performance. That's fair. That's connecting the country. That's what Bob Bradley was talking about. That is fair. You've gotten a head start, you've gotten a leg up, and you've gotten people within the federation to make excuses and, in my view, have said outright lies about what is a million of them. Larry Berg. He has predicted that Major League Soccer will surpass Major League Baseball in popularity sometime by 2030, in the next 10 years. And Inter Miami owner Jorge Mas added that he thinks it will be of higher quality than the Premier League or La Liga by 2045. Now, let's tackle both of those comments. Number one, is Major League Soccer going to be more popular than Major League Baseball in the next 10 years? I don't know. That's the correct answer. I don't know. Why would I say I don't know? For this reason. If MLS and U.S. Soccer continue doing today what they're doing for the next 10 years, then my answer would be no. They will not be more popular than Major League Baseball. If Larry Berg changes his comment to be soccer will surpass Major League Baseball in popularity during the next 10 years, that I could believe. And not only that, I think Major League Soccer could surpass Major League Baseball if it is part of an open and accessible system. Cities, just big cities. Cities that have NFL teams in them that have no major soccer presence at the moment. So do I look at it and go, is there a massive potential here? Absolutely. And if you could look out and go, hey, man, we've got 300 professional clubs across this country, 300 professional clubs, all connected in one system. You think people are going to care? Are they going to watch? Are they going to be emotionally and financially invested? Could it surpass Major League Baseball with, 30 teams in popularity? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Does that mean Major League Baseball and the NHL die in the next 10 years? No, but they've made their own share of mistakes. But Major League Soccer is not going to pass the popularity of baseball, Major League Baseball, in the next 10 years doing what they're doing now, because what they're doing now is not catching up. You know the old saying, if I keep doing what I've been doing, expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. And so Larry Berg and the others who are making these bold predictions, they better be backing them up with changes that leads to the outcomes that they are predicting. So I don't know what the relationship, I don't know what the conversation was like between Larry Berg and my ceiling. I've got nowhere else to go. I want to do more. My fans want more. Our city wants more. In regards to Jorge Mas's prediction about higher quality than the Premier League or La Liga by 2045, that means in 25 years. That is possible. Yet again, but not doing what they're doing today. But it is possible. In the early 90s, England realized that Italy was where it was at, and they were in trouble. And this caused the formation of the Premier League. The big clubs saying, look, we've got to do something else. This isn't working. And there are a lot of great things that have happened as a result of the Premier League. There's obviously some other things where maybe not as much. When you look at American soccer and you look at our system, you look at the disconnections in the system, the disjointedness and the silos within the system, we will not get to a level anywhere close to a second division league in these top countries, Germany, Spain, England, Italy, in the next 25 years doing what we're doing today. Major League Soccer would not fare favorably up against the championship in England. But, and this is the big but, if they're willing to change, if U.S. soccer is, I want to build a colony on Mars or whatever the big audacious goal is, our goal should be we want to be the best soccer country on earth. We're there on the women's side. More investment, more resources. We can double down and we can ensure that we are at or near the top of the women's game for the foreseeable future. We can get there in our extended national teams. Just a little bit of resources and investment that they're not getting right now could set us up majorly going forward. And our men's national team could see a major boost from having a viable, from a quality standpoint, domestic league to play in. I would love for my two boys to be able to have the opportunity to play in a viable domestic league. They grow up dreaming of playing in Europe because that's where the best teams are. That's where the best quality is. That's where the best players are. They don't dream of growing up and playing here in America. But that dream could change if our system was connected, if we invited in the resources into all levels of the game. We need a ding, ding, ding. And how do we get money into the system? By connecting everyone together. By incentivizing development for best players. I think the good news is players want to play here. We're the U.S. People want to live here. It's an incredible lifestyle. The infrastructure is fantastic. Moss went on to say, I think MLS will be one of the top sports leagues in the United States. I think it will be on par or exceed the best leagues in the world, the Premier League or Serie A or La Liga worldwide. I think that the MLS 25 years from now will be Premier League-ish, if we want to so call it that, on the metrics that leagues are measured by. And again, I don't disagree with their hopes. I don't disagree with their dream. I don't disagree with their prediction as long as it is coupled with action. And that action means doing the things that Bob Bradley spoke about. Eliminating homegrown territories, connecting everyone into one system of promotion and relegation, instituting solidarity payments and training compensation. Those three things alone would radically alter the future stewards of their resources. Plain and simple. Can you run your organization well? If you do, you'll be okay. If you don't, you'll get punished. That's the real world. Again, buckle up, Buttercup, because that is what we need in this country. Merit. We want the clubs and organizations at the top of the pyramid to be the ones that earn it to be there, the ones who are best run. We don't want subsidizing poor teams. We want to see good things on the field and in the communities. This idea that we should subsidize poor play and poor run organizations just because they're in the club, that's where we get to a place of wanting parity and wanting to keep the lid on things. We don't want Atlanta United to become a super club. I look at Seattle, I look at Portland, I look at LAFC, I look at Atlanta United, 4 organizations within Major League Soccer that right now, if they were to be in an open system, would be all in about trying to become super clubs in America. In their own way. Portland, they don't have the crowds of Atlanta United, but they could be a major player, and there is a passion for things New Orleans down in that area, and coupled with a great owner or ownership group and community resources, community investments, building bridges, building relationships. I think you could see the kind of rabid fan base that you see with the Saints. I think you could see that, because that is part of the Louisiana sports experience. LSU, the New Orleans Saints, this deep level of passion. Passion is a word that is part of the lexicon in Bayou country, and I think that soccer could do very well there. I think there are markets we don't even know about. MLS is not even in markets that right now could be bigger or as big as some of the markets that they go out espousing as incredible. There could be others. We don't know. And that's the point. Merit decides that. And so Bob's comments were good. I'm happy he made them, and I'm hoping that his lead investor in LAFC is behind those words, and I would love to see, obviously, some changes going forward as a part of that as well. Speaking of changes, if you haven't already, you can change people's lives by making a donation to charitywater.org. You can get involved with Charity Water. They provide clean.org. We will be right back after this.
No one, no man, no woman, no child should ever have to drink green water with bugs, with algae, with disease in it. Bad water and a lack of toilets kills more people than all the wars in the world. We know how to bring clean drinking water right now to every single person on earth. And when you can bring water into communities, it truly transforms them. It changes everything. Or you could know that you'd made a difference. You could know that you had truly impacted the life of a family, of a community, of a region. There was either clean water or there wasn't. We believe in a world where every single person has clean and safe water to drink, and we will continue fighting until that happens.
When U.S. Soccer made plans for a new and revolutionary promotion relegation system. And I want to kind of go back to this article that we referenced yesterday when we were talking about Bob Bradley and we were talking about his comments. We were talking about Major League Soccer and how they use the crook the criminal, the crook, the criminal, I pause for dramatic effect, to get exemptions for Major League Soccer. Keep that in mind. Major League Soccer is leaning on a criminal who got their exemptions. We don't know how the exemptions were gotten. We don't know how much money, if any, exchanged hands. But we know that he's a crook and a criminal. And he was caught for doing the very things that could have been associated with securing these exemptions. Now, back to 1988, when U.S. Soccer made plans for a new and revolutionary promotion and relegation system. I want to give you a couple little highlights from this article. So, in 1988, this is shortly after the NASL, the original NASL, had folded. Okay, so there's no pro league in the U.S. at the time. And, there were leagues that were playing professional soccer, but not as a kind of a national footprint. Nothing on that would... he did it along with Scott Letelier, who was then the counsel for the 1994 World Cup. They wrote a plan. So the short-term plan was for the men's national team, as we talked about, to do well at the Summer Olympics in 1988 and then qualify for the 1990 World Cup. The U.S. struggled in Seoul, but reached the World Cup in Italy in 1990, as we know. Paul Caligiuri, big part of that. That was the first World Cup they had participated in 40 years. Okay, so we had been in the dark ages from our men's national team program. The medium term was a 6-year plan to produce a men's national team that was properly prepared for the 94 World Cup. The plans were passed by acclamation by the National Council at the annual general meeting in Philadelphia in 1988. Werner Fricker, then the U.S. Soccer Federation president, said the development plan would emphasize the short and medium-term goals, while the long-term goals, although of course equally important, will necessarily require much more time and careful nurturing at the grassroots level. That task was much more daunting. Established not only a viable first division pro league, but supporting second and third tiers that would include promotion and relegation. The same Sunil Gulati, who today talks about not changing the rules, wrote a plan for promotion and relegation that got passed. Structure. The Federation will use all of its power to facilitate this development, the report said. It must, however, be understood that it is vital to the success of this league that various components of it are rooted in sound foundations. Some of the report's details: a first division, a national league, which would consist of a maximum of 32 teams. Second division of 4 leagues with a maximum of 12 clubs in each would have a total of 48 teams, and a third division, which would have 8 professional regions with a maximum of 12 teams in each league for 96 clubs. MLS isn't that far off from their 32-team idea, but we still don't have anything connected in promotion relegation. A system of relegation by which the top teams from the lower divisions may advance to higher divisions, relegating lower teams, unique to American professional sports, is also to be implemented, the report stated. Under this system, any community in America, provided it meets standards discussed below, could field a team in the National League. Open and accessible. After consulting with the Pro Council, the U.S. Soccer Federation's Board of Directors was charged with creating rules and regulations. What happened to promotion and relegation? Well, Major League Soccer happened. And that's where we will pick up the show tomorrow. The 5 categories I think are good categories, and we'll touch on those again starting off the show tomorrow. But it's safe to say, when you look at this, that the Federation was staring down a crossroads, and we are living on the backside of a bad decision. And until we rectify that bad decision, we are not going to reach our potential. We are not going to achieve what I believe should be our destiny as becoming the greatest soccer country on earth. And until we do, we will continue to be frustrated with what could be, what should be, instead of what is. Thanks for watching the show. As always, you can watch on begatv.com, begatv.com. You can watch at danielworkman.com. You can also watch the show simulcasted on Facebook at facebook.com/WRKMN, on Twitter. You can catch me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Workman. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you again tomorrow.